This video is for the OAuth verification for SecurityScout as shown here. This is the application, and in the middle with Google Workspace integration, when you go and configure the integration, you use the sign in with Google button that is pre-approved. That then takes you to log on. When you log on with it, obviously the privacy policy and terms of service, which do include the Google API's note, is requested. Once the integration is set up, a sync occurs where we pull in the users and the groups, which will be shown in code shortly. Once that is completed, you can then go in and look at the current accounts for the organization as well as the group memberships. This then allows for a variety of things, from looking at MFA to looking at stale accounts and cloud permissions, because now there are group memberships that are shown with inheritance if it is inherited through another group. So the parent is joined because the person is in the group. So that is the way the integration works. You can obviously also go in and delete the integration, which then deletes all of the data from it. And to be sure it is shown, when you go in and do the connection, here is the client ID. Sorry about that. Here is the client ID, and that is for the same project and the same client ID that is being requested here in the request. So this is the code very quickly. The integration, when it occurs, goes in and takes the credentials from the user. It parses it out. It gets the data from it and stores it in a secret in GCP Secret Manager, and this is where we were setting the state of the integration to in progress. Once that is in there, we're setting the scopes when we do the read for users and groups only. Once those scopes are defined, then we get the secret from Secret Manager, create authorized user info using standard Google libraries, and then with those credentials, do a refresh if required. Use the standard admin directory APIs, and we do the cache by getting the users through user list. Groups is a similar method where we go through and get the scopes as necessary, just the minimal amount, create the credentials, refresh them if necessary, create a service, and do the cache, which is getting the group memberships, which is using, again, just a standard admin directory v1 API. So that is the way the integration works with Google. The client ID is shown and the way that it all functions. Initial Google OAuth verification that was received about a month ago. An update was made to add directory role management read-only, and this is to show that functionality. So in integrations, as was done before, we can go to reconfigure, which is the same thing as setup, sign in with Google, and again, as we notice, the client ID in the project for follow-on identification that this is the correct project and client ID. We go ahead and connect. That then does have the view delegated admin roles with the role management read only. When we allow that, it will go ahead and do a sync of all of the users and their roles, and once this is complete, then I will move over to the IDP accounts page and show the functionality. Now that that is done, under current accounts, instead of having a prior is admin or is delegated admin, instead all of the roles will show up. This then allows for more targeted alerts that we'll be able to create based on the roles rather than a single Boolean variable. To have this work, we are now, instead of just doing user and group read only for those customers that their tenants are doing the new integration, we do have new scopes with this new scope that has been added. That new scope, similar to the prior methodology, just uses the traditional credentials from authorized user info with those new scopes. When that is executed, then it is doing, for those that have the new configuration, it is hitting the typical role assignments list for that customer ID for that user and pulling those roles. So that is how those roles are pulled in. And to show very quickly, this is using, to the side, I'm pulling up the integration just to show that the client ID is the same. So if you will give me 1 second, you will see that the integration that I was just hitting is the same project, which is this 3441, and that the credentials is for that same client ID.